What is up, ladies and gents? It's your boy Lou Streets, and I am back with another video. And in this video, yes, I'm going to address the whole back and forth between me and SonicFox. I was out of town when it popped off on Wednesday, so I wasn't able to talk about it till now, but I'm finally back home. So let's go ahead and get started. But before we do, I want to go through these screenshots one by one, so that way I don't ramble and that my thoughts can be gathered, because while I'm going to be critical of Sonic, I also want to be fair to him. So let's get started. So obviously, as I'm sure most of you guys are aware, we got the whole news about Combat Pack 3 being canceled, and it seems to set off this firestorm of people talking about this potentially being a real thing, and it wasn't confirmed yet. Ironically, about a day or two later, after Fate Unknown doubled down on his information while saying he wasn't going to make any more posts about it, the Pro Comp Season 2 is all of a sudden announced out of nowhere. And when it gets announced, it makes people wonder, okay, is Fate Unknown right? Is the game going to be supported anymore going forward? It was all of that, right? So SonicFox makes this tweet that says this. So what I want to do is go through these posts in order before I give my opinions on them. And so that's what we're going to do here, right? So this all started with Sonic posted this tweet that says, if they announce crowdfunding, then we are so back for Mortal Kombat, oh my God. I reply, MK1 is never going to be so back, it's a dub, bro. And I'm referring to crowdfunding at that point, but let's continue. Always dooming on the TL, oh my God. I said, some of us gotta tell the truth. He says, you can be miserable, but leave me out of it, please. So I respond to that because I think that's a cheap shot and I think it's bullshit. And I'll tell you why in a second, but let's keep reading. I say, it's always funny when you try to big bro anyone who doesn't agree with you after you have said similar things yourself on the same Twitter account. It's all good. You're the best player, so people respect your opinion. Sent the DM a while back. Check it if you like the chat, MK. Let's keep going. Somebody else replies, how are they trying to big bro you? And I said, I'm miserable for stating my opinion that tons of others agree with which the numbers clearly indicate, right? We wouldn't be in this position if a bunch of people didn't feel this way. So that's neither here nor there. But I'm miserable for stating my opinion that tons of others agree with. I guess we are all miserable when Sonic has voiced his own disappointment with the game, but when I said I'm miserable. Now, if you've said something that I've said, why is it dooming when I say it, but when you say it, it's okay? And we got screenshots to support that, but let's keep going. Sonic said it would be good for the scene if they brought back crowdfunding, and you just replied with your negative ass opinion on shit. But see, my thing is, that's not an opinion. The numbers themselves indicate we're not going to do crowdfunding as a group because we feel ripped off. And it's a lot of people that feel that way. That's not negativity, that's reality. Like, the numbers indicate that for themselves, but I don't want to get lost in my opinion. I want to share my opinion after we go through these screenshots. So let's keep going. Sonic says, I blocked him, it's okay. Literally, his entire platform is being negative. That's a lie. People who are familiar with my channel know that that's cap, but we'll address that later. Something good has actually happened with the MK for once, and he wants to come at me with some nonsense. I'm not coming at him with nonsense. I'm saying what a lot of people think. I don't post my opinions on his post for a reason, so I like the same courtesy if you're going to be a downer. So basically, you can only post on Sonic tweets if you agree with him. That's what he's saying, but let's keep going forward. So then, let me skip over this part because somebody, like, I think I addressed him and basically said, he's replying to the part where I said, oh, so it's only miserable when we say it. And he was like, bro, what are you talking about? Literally everything I've seen about you on my TL is maximum dooming about MK, and you're trying to bring your negativity to my post when I'm not here for it. Go about your day, sir. How else did you think this was going to end? This is what I think is super corny about him, because it's like this idea of how did you think this was going to end? I didn't even expect none of this to happen. But the thing is, like, fam, we don't have to fucking talk. Like, you're nobody important to me. I'll reach out for a collaboration if you're a voice in the scene, as I've done with many other people. But if you end up being a dickhead about it, like, it's no sweat off my back. It just is what it is. So somebody said they could announce a $2 million prize pool and literally cater to him specifically with nerfs and buffs, literally make his version of the perfect MK, and he'll still find something to say about it that's negative. It's crazy. This is what I think is corny about people like this. And this is the problem when you get into it with like a figurehead in the scene, because then you will have people say dumb stuff like this. But my most recent videos, I'm talking about how great Ghostface has been and how Mortal Kombat 1 has had positive changes. The problem is you dug such a hole with the launch that now you got to do double the work to get back to point A, which is why we won't have crowdfunding in the first place. But let's continue on. So now let's look at this tweet from SonicFox from back in the day, right? It says, I am hopeful that it's not too late for MK1 to get back on the right track. I know there are certain things that are completely WB's fault and not necessarily NRS's, but it doesn't change the situation we are in. If not, I will drop the game. I've done this many times already. So he threatened to drop the game, and he said that MK1 needs to get back on the right track, admitting that we're in a bad scenario, right? So when I say that MK1 is never going to be back with crowdfunding, because of these type of situations that have led up to this point that we're in. Yeah, things are getting better now, but the damage is already done. I'm dooming. Yeah, when you threatened to drop the game, you weren't dooming then. Like, the game is in a better place now. That doesn't change the majority of people that feel ripped off over the course of money that they've spent over the past year and some change. Let's keep going. How delusional do you have to be to think if I speak out it's going to change anything? I literally dropped MK11 for the lack of communication and support, and absolutely nothing changed in that game. I enjoy MK1, I really do, but I'm not wasting my time on something futile. So my point in reading these tweets is that, why is this not glooming and dooming when you say it? Why is it glooming and dooming when I say it, or when anybody challenges your opinion? But it's glooming and dooming when we do it, but it's okay when you do it. So clearly, the game hasn't been in the greatest state for more of his lifetime than not. So that doesn't help going forward with the idea of crowdfunding being supported when there's rumors that Combat Pack 3 might get canceled, along with the fact that we haven't had the best experience over the past year. Chaos Reigns didn't sell that well, so people don't necessarily feel that great about spending money. Now, when it comes to me, I'm of the ilk that if something's great, I'm willing to spend to support and help it go forward. That's kind of how I am about the Tekken store and other games that I play, right? Even with Mortal Kombat 1, I bought Chaos Reigns, haven't even played the story yet. A lot of you guys who watch my channel know I buy the games to play online, but the overall experience of the game hasn't been that great for the majority of his lifetime. Now, things are changing now, and I've made tons of videos to say that, hey, Ghostface has made this game very fun. I even have a video that's titled Ghostface Made Me Miss Mortal Kombat 1, to the point that it made me want to pick up some other characters because I started to have fun again. But the point still stands that when you talk about crowdfunding bringing us so back, how do you expect people to have crowdfunding when millions of people feel ripped off? And that's the point that we're trying to make. But when we make that point, we're dooming. But when you say something similar in the past, because you're not saying it now, it wasn't dooming then. This is why I think Sonic is a corny hypocrite at times. He tried this same thing, making some comments about the competitive state of Tekken 8, and they laughed his ass out the room. The only reason it doesn't happen in Mortal Kombat is because he wins all the tournaments, which is cool. He's the best player, so that makes a lot of sense. But the point is, when we're talking about spending money on our experience as a customer, you can't say we're doomers because we don't agree with you, especially when you've shared sentiments that are similar in the past, right on this very same account. That was the point I was trying to make, but let's continue on. So as this goes on, you get back and forth between viewers within the community. Some of my viewers are on my side. The majority of the people are on his side because he's the bigger player, so he just has more notoriety. But you get replies like this: to be fair, man, I don't think you like the game, and that's fine. Nothing wrong with expressing your thoughts, but crowdfunding would definitely bring the game back competitively. But what he's missing in saying that is that you're saying crowdfunding would bring the game back competitively. I'm saying, what's people's motivation to crowdfund? We have a lack of skins. We have a lack of support for the majority of the life cycle of the game. We have had some changes recently that made the game fun. I've admitted that. There's a chance that Combat Pack 3 could be off the table. We don't know if that's confirmed or not, but when it gets confirmed, that's going to be very negative as far as the community goes. So my thing is, what is the motivation to crowdfund? You guys keep saying what crowdfunding would do. I'm saying, why would the majority of customers buy into that when their experience has been negative? That's what I mean about it'll never be so back. Now, if we were in year 3 and the past 2 years and the trajectory have been up because they made positive changes and things have been well, that's different. But the game has been out for roughly it's November, tomorrow's December. The game came out in September of last year. So you give me a year, that's 12 months right there. So roughly around 13 months, like 12 to 13 months is kind of where we're at. The majority of that experience has been negative for the average player. So what would motivate that person to crowdfund the game or a tournament? That's what I'm saying. So let's continue on. I never said I disliked the game. I said Mortal Kombat 11 was better and that this game had a bad launch. Then everyone turned that into you hate the game. I simply give objective opinions based on the state that the game is in. The same way I've said constantly how much fun the game has been with Ghostface. So the recent patches have been fun, but it's not enough to make people want to crowdfund the game when the majority and consistency has been negative. It's got to be better than that for longer is the overall point that we're trying to make. But when I said I'm glooming and dooming, but when Sonic said it, it was okay, right? Let's continue on. As you see in some of my recent tweets, I say I got this random urge to learn Raiko when I get back in town. I will say Ghostface has made Mortal Kombat 1 enjoyable, but I definitely enjoyed the grind of Tekken 8 much more. MK1 is just more of a fun content game now because there's too many glitches and bugs and things like that for it to be taken competitively seriously, right? But it's still a fun game as far as where it's at right now. the majority of the game hasn't been that fun. So that's why I'm saying people won't crowdfund it. As you see, I got a video out right here that says let Ghostface cook. So you see, I'm enjoying my time with Ghostface. Let's continue on. In this screenshot right here, I'm pretty much pointing out how the community is like mindless drones or spineless robots. Because this is what happens. Pro player, I'm done competing at MK1 with the state that it's in is not worth it. As I showed you in SonicFox previous screenshot, right? The community, you're right, this game is trash. That same pro player, this patch is awesome, we are so back. MK1 community, this game is the best ever. This is my overall point when it comes to just not thinking for yourselves. Like, it's one thing to say that the game is going in the right direction, which I have said, but this idea that this patch is so awesome that we're so back and everything is just forgiven, that's just simply not true. And it's like, when you say things like gloom and doom or make up lies like my content is based on negativity, you're gaslighting. Like, my annoyance is, whenever Sonic says something really fucking dumb, which he's done on multiple occasions, as soon as people pretty much step to him about it or check him about it, like I'm willing to, because like I don't kiss nobody's ass out here, you try to gaslight people and say, well, oh, that guy's just negative. Okay, well, if I'm just negative, how did I get all the followers who fuck with my content and think I'm hilarious and think I give like awesome commentary and speak about the state of the game? Am I being negative when I say that Ghostface makes the game fun? Am I being negative when I make 500 videos about Mortal Kombat 11 because it's a good game? Like, overall, the launch has just been bad, and we're acknowledging that. We're hoping it goes the right direction. But when you got some of these rumors out here about Combat Pack 3 getting canceled because of the overall state of the game in totality, not just the past 6 weeks, the overall totality of the game. And the reason that's all valid is because we spent money on that. So even if the game is good now, that doesn't change the reluctance that some people have about the game going forward based on the overall totality of their experience. You can't call those people miserable and say that they're gloom and dooming. This is their hard-earned fucking money that they're spending. They would like to spend something and get their bang for their buck. And when they're not getting their bang for their buck, they're going to complain. That's not glooming and dooming. We didn't get the game for free. This isn't like playing Apex Legends where you download it for free, and if you don't like it, you can stop playing. People put their money into it, so they would hope to get a valuable experience out of money that they went to work for and spent. So if we continue on with that tweet, we got the homie Senpai saying, dog, I'll never forget the beginning of Mortal Kombat 11, Mr. NRS Goat said Aaron Black was low tier during that time, and everyone in their mama was using him, and Aaron Black just disappeared because of what Sonic said. You fast forward, not a single buff, and Sonic says he's S tier, and again, boom, inflation of Aaron Black players. So his point is that people don't think for themselves, which is pretty much like validating what I'm saying. But my thing is, I respect it, bro. Influence is influence, as I put in my tweet. I respect the game. I just hate when niggas try to big bro you for not agreeing with them. Nobody's saying you're not the best. I'm saying I don't agree with what you said. Like, you can be the best player, but to try to make it seem like people are being negative on your post as the best player, like hating or something like that, like, no, bro. The reason that this is like even a possibility of Combat Pack 3 being canceled or any of these other rumors we've heard is because people haven't had the best experience with the game. So when people say things like, oh, well, you know, you're saying this because you get paid for them or blah, 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 it sounds as if I'm coming with a motive that I'm not. And that's what I don't like about the scenario, right? Like, when people have like kind of made this narrative where I'm exposing SonicFox. I'm not exposing SonicFox. I have no desire to expose SonicFox, and I don't think that there's anything to expose him about. What I think is corny about him is that when you challenge his opinion, he tries to use being the best player as validity to invalidate your opinion, when I'm just talking about a customer's perspective. I'm not talking about like who's the best at the game, who's the best character, who has the best frames. What I'm talking about is something I'm very validated to discuss, because we're talking about people's experience as customers. And when it comes to people's experience as customers, well, then everybody's opinion is valid. So when you try to say that crowdfunding would make the game be so back, and I ask, well, what would motivate people to crowdfund? You can't say I'm glooming and dooming. Do you see people crowdfunding? Where's the crowdfunding? Like, if I'm so wrong, where is the crowdfunding? Do we have boatloads of money coming in from the audience to support the competitive scene in Mortal Kombat because they've enjoyed their experience like they did in Mortal Kombat 11? No, we simply don't have that. So, like, we have people who love the game. We have hardcores who want to play the game. Hell, I still play the game. I take breaks from it the same way that Sonic took a break from it or threatened to take a break from it, but I still play the game. But the overall point is, if I ask what's going to motivate people to crowdfund, you can't call that glooming on the TL or start making up bullshit lies about, well, his whole platform is based on negativity. I got like fucking 1,500 videos on my channel of multiple games. It's no way I'm making 1,500 videos of me being negative about multiple games and people like my shit. Like, don't just sit and lie because you got challenged and you were wrong. And so the only way that you can pretty much make yourself look better in the scenario is try to say, well, oh, that guy's being negative. I'm one of the greatest players ever, so that's why people watching me. That guy's being negative. I'm not being negative. I'm asking a valid question. Let's continue on. Okay, so this is something that I really wanted to address in this screenshot because I think I've kind of been given credit for this, and it was very unintentional. You know, like people kind of, they got this thing about something that Ninja said on my channel, and we were just having a very, what's the word I'm looking for? We were having a very directionless convo, like a very free-flowing convo, and I asked him, I said, is it true that competitive players have influence on how the game gets balanced? Ninja said, whether directly or indirectly, it seems that they only really care to listen to SonicFox about his opinions on balancing. Now, he didn't necessarily say that like Sonic is making direct calls on this stuff, and a lot of people have been running with that narrative, and I wanted to clear that up right now based on this screenshot. So let's address it, then I'll go back to what I think Ninja was trying to say, because I want to be fair to Sonic. As I said, while I'm critical of some of Sonic's habits as far as his personality goes, I don't want to be unfair and cast false accusations on him, right? So I want to address this screenshot, and then I'll give my take on what I feel like Ninja was trying to say and what was being expressed in the video, because I'm the one who asked the question, right? So it's somebody attacking Sonic saying, I never said you did. He's referring to like Sonic having the ability to influence buffs and nerfs. So what he says is, I never said you did. One of your best friends did, and to think you weren't informed about the game and invited to test it a lot by the studio who put a trophy in one of their games just for you would be crazy. I know I'm right. You know I'm right. I don't care what anybody else says. Bye. Now, hey, that's how that person feels. He's allowed to feel that way. He seems to have his mind made up. Sonic says in response, they did. I declined. If I accepted, I would not be allowed to compete. So I didn't. You're wrong. Goodbye. So the next person says, Roquin, but Sonic, stop the cap like you're not the spoon-fed number one NRS guy. Ninja and Loose Streets exposed you. And then somebody else tagged me and said, hey, they saying you exposed Sonic. Okay, so this is a narrative I want to clear up for me as well as Ninja, because I don't think Ninja had malicious intent. So we were having a free-flowing conversation about, do I believe that competitive players influence the balance of the game? I thought as a whole, like as far as testers like Dragon, maybe Sonic, I know that Eva had a relationship with them at one point, I believe. I thought that the competitive players had input. I don't mean like that they balanced the game directly, but there were rumors about, hey, do you guys kind of say things and nudge things a certain direction? Maybe not like buff my favorite character, but just saying, hey, I think this is broken. Maybe this should be adjusted, etc. That was the question I was asking Ninja. Ninja response, I don't think it was malicious at all. What Ninja was pretty much saying is that, from what I'm going to say what I interpret what Ninja was saying on my video. I can't speak for him, but I'm going to try to speak to my interpretation of what he said. What I took from what Ninja said is that, okay, we have a lot of us who are really good players, but it's very clear that Sonic and Ninja are the best two players. 1A, 1B. Sonic wins the majority of the championships or tournaments, so you got to assume that Sonic is the best player, but Ninja's right there. We see the skill level. Those guys are right there, right? What I took from what Ninja was saying is that I'm just as skilled as Sonic. I have just as much influence within the community as far as like the players go, but it feels like they only value his input, but don't really care to value anybody else's, whether that be mine or just some of the other players. And I think people took that and ran with Sonic like works for NRS or like has direct input. I want to be fair to Sonic. I don't think that that's true or that's not possible. I think his word carries a lot of weight in the way that when he says something, they'll listen even if he's not saying it to them. And I think that's what Ninja was trying to say, is that when like, let's say if Ninja made 20 tweets about Liu Kang needs this, or Liu Kang needs that, or this character needs this, or this character needs that. What I took from what Ninja was saying is that they wouldn't even acknowledge what he would say in that scenario, even though he's clearly as skilled as Sonic. But if Sonic said those same things, you might see those things pop up in the game. So I think that's what Ninja was trying to say. So when this guy right here says that Ninja and Loose Streets exposed you, first of all, I don't want that out there. I don't have any desire to expose SonicFox about anything. And when I asked Ninja that question, it wasn't to expose anything. We were just having a very free-flowing conversation. That question popped in my mind because I know that other people asked me about it in the past. And so I wanted to take the opportunity to ask Ninja to see what he said. And I was surprised at his response, but I don't think his response is as malicious as you guys are trying to make it out to be. I think what Ninja was saying is that it would be nice if some of us were able to offer some input or had some type of relationship, but it seems like they only want to make an effort to have a relationship with SonicFox for whatever reason. That's what I took from what Ninja was saying. I don't think that he was saying that Sonic directly balances the game. I think his gripe was more so with NRS not paying attention to what other players have to say when those players have just as high of skill level or credentials with winning, such as NinjaKilla. That's what I think he was trying to say, right? So I wanted to just clear that up, just to be fair to Sonic. And so then going back to that last tweet, you see right here, Sonic says they did. I declined. If I accept it, I would not be allowed to compete. I just want to point out, to be fair to Sonic, Tom Brady validated the exact same sentiment. He said, this is very true. After MKX, NRS, starting with Injustice 2, had a policy that no one involved in testing could compete for at least the first 6 months or a year after the launch of the game. He forgot the exact timeline. And my reason for wanting to point that out is because I really don't want this narrative out there that me and NinjaKilla exposed Sonic in any way, because as I said, me and Ninja were just having a natural conversation. His response was that NRS doesn't seem to take into the account of what other competitive players think, but I don't think it was an indictment against saying that Sonic balances the game directly. It was more so saying that they don't really seem to listen to the rest of their players except this one figurehead when we're just as skilled, or at least in a comparable aspect. So I wanted to put that out there that Tom Brady validated that as well. So that way I wanted to shoot that bell to Sonic to be fair, because as I said, I'm being critical of his response to me and some of his personality tactics that I think is kind of corny, but I don't want to put false accusations on his name, because that was never the intention when me and NinjaKilla had that conversation. So to continue on that topic, Mike and SonicFox had a back and forth as well, because Mike made a video in regards to the issue that me and Sonic had, but I was out of town, so I couldn't address it. And I love Mike. Mike's my dog, but this is something I want to say too. Mike Hollow is a great guy. We've done some content together, great guy, but I think that even though me and him have great rapport, he doesn't strike me as the type of guy that's going to just make a video on your behalf just because he's cool with you. You know what I'm saying? I think he's a very honest guy that calls it straight down the middle, and he could kind of see through some of the hypocrisy that Sonic displayed in that back and forth with me and him. So even he asks, why are you calling people delusional when Ninja is the one that said it? He's either lying or not, but we're not delusional for hearing it come from the other top player's mouth. It would be delusional if we just made it up to fit a narrative. And so even him and Sonic having that back and forth, I don't want to go into their thing because Mike made a video on that, and I don't want to step on the toes of that. But what I will say is that Mike comes from that same sentiment I do, that when somebody has a disagreement with you or discourse, don't try to use your ego or your name to just throw what people are saying to the side. Calling people delusional and saying, we're glooming and dooming and all these things, bro, you've said things that have been in line with what I've said. So don't call me a gloomer or doomer when I say something that you don't agree with, just because you don't have that sentiment anymore when you had it before. And even this thing right here with him and Mike, they have this back and forth, and it's he's trying to call people delusional. It's people aren't delusional. They're asking you a question. You know what I'm saying? It's the ego that the thing that gets disappointing when it comes to some of our favorite players within the scene is some of their egos and their personalities can just be so whack. That's why I show so much love to Ninja on my channel, because obviously Ninja gets a ton of traffic and does makes amazing content. But anytime I've reached out to Ninja, even if it took some time for us to kind of chop it up and get together, Ninja ain't never big bro. You know what I'm saying? He ain't never try to high side me. He show love and just, it is what it is. We didn't got on the mic, we didn't chopped it up, we didn't play games together. I fuck with Ninja because there's a thing where Ninja kind of reminds me in a way when people reach out to me for collabs. I know I got a busy schedule, but I try to make time. But Ninja kind of reminds me of that. It's yo fam, somebody think that you dope at the game, they want to show you some love, they want to collab with you, you can holler at them and pretty much make some great content with that. We can have a great collaboration. That's just not the vibe I ever get from Sonic, because whenever he gets challenged, it's always he knows that if he says something negative to you, his drones will come and defend him. Even if he's 100% wrong, which he was in this scenario with me and him. It's you're saying crowdfunding will bring the game back to maximum capacity. That's cool. I'm asking, what have they done as a development team to motivate us to crowdfund? And you're saying I'm glooming and dooming. Not true, but it is what it is. So we go down to this next tweet, and so I put, apparently I hurt SonicFox's feelings. Dog blocked me for not agreeing with him. Guess we won't ever get that collab. Oh well. The homie Ranger says, yo, Sonic, he tagged Sonic on this. And it's cool because I like that he did this as far as it shows who I've been consistently, but I don't give a fuck about the collab no more. It's I want to collab with people that I feel are dope people and are talented. If you talented but you whack, it kind of takes some steam off the collab. Or if you hella cool, but you're not as talented, that's still dope too, because we can have a great conversation, as I've done with other players who, like, a lot of you guys were surprised when me and Sikander did the interview. Sikander cool as a motherfucker, so we made that happen. But let's go back to this tweet right here. The homie Ranger says, Lou has always been a genuine fan and supporter of your work. Blocking one of the most genuine and consistent creators for this is just bad business for the community. Why are we having personal feelings over someone's opinion on the game? And that was my overall point about what pissed me off. To try to call me like a gloomer and doomer or make up lies and gaslight that my content and my platform is based on negativity, that's just simply not true. Like, everybody knows my content is based on hilarious commentary, being pretty skilled, and just making dope ass content. As far as like, I got like great and awesome soundtracks that I put in the back of my videos. But most people fuck with me because my commentary is just funny. So when he said that, that's what pissed me off, because if you weren't familiar with Lou Street's content and then you read what Sonic said, you would assume that to be true. And the thing that made me mad about it was like, fam, you gaslighting because I challenged your opinion. You don't, like, you said every time I see your content, this is what you're doing. So that just means you don't see my content. So if you don't see my content, then don't make a fucking comment on it, because you don't see it. And the funny thing about this is that when I said, I guess we'll never get the collab, I'll show you, and I reached out to him for full transparency. So this is a screenshot of a message that I sent out in August. This is after me and NinjaKilla collabed a few times. And it says, yo, Sonic, would love if you let me get a collab, fam. Would love to play or whatever, not trying to clout chase. That's one thing I always say when it comes to content and collaborations. If I'm ever creating with the high level player, I want to let them know I'm not trying to clout chase. I'm not trying to embarrass you. I'm not trying to say I won and edit the video to make it look like I whooped you. What it is that when you got a name over here and I got a name over here, I think it's dope when our fans come together and see that unity within the community. So that's why I hate when somebody tries to big bro you, because it's like, fam, we're gonna have disagreements within the community, but don't try to like weaponize your side of the community against me because of the fact that you don't like something I said or don't agree with like my take on something. Because whenever I reach out for a collab, it's for the unity of community. If you guys think about it, how many pro players have you seen me collab with, or big names have you seen me collab with? How many times have you seen me get into it with somebody? The only other pro player I've ever addressed in a negative manner is when Tweety did something I didn't like and tried to be elitist, and I had to get on his ass. And I showed y'all the screenshots and footage of how that went down. So you know I wasn't clout chasing, I wasn't like trying to make him look bad. I just was telling you the truth. So when it comes to collabs, I reach out in this manner. Not trying to clout chase, just would be an honor to have you on for some content. I had Ninja on in the past. Much love and respect to the GOATs. And the point of me pointing out that I had Ninja on in the past is so you can see that when me and Ninja collab, it wasn't on no negative stuff. I wasn't trying to embarrass Ninja, wasn't trying to make him look away. I reached out, he eventually responded, he showed love, we made some dope content happen. And then, so that's August of last year, right? Then I'll show a follow-up. I reached out again in September and I said, yo, Sonic, any chance I could get a collab with you for some games, fam? Would definitely appreciate it. You're the god. So basically, I think this was like after he won one of the pro comps, so like was right around it or somewhere in that time. But pretty much my point in saying this is like, you're one of the best players. You have an awesome community that supports you. I got an awesome community that supports me. We should do some type of unifying thing. And now, obviously, as the bigger creator, it would be you doing me a favor by doing so. But if you don't do that, it's all good. But like, what I won't do is like beg or kiss ass or not state my opinions and not be who I am just because I think you're an awesome player. But sometimes what we find that is our awesome players can kind of have shitty personalities. But at the same time, I didn't want this video to be like some indictment on Sonic, and that's why I wanted to point out the thing that was said between me and NinjaKilla, because we weren't trying to expose anybody. I've had, since this whole thing has popped off, I've had people try to reach out to me and ask me, hey bro, here's a screenshot of this, or you know, I'm saying this or that about Sonic. And the thing is, I didn't put those things in this video because I don't want to make content based around that type of stuff. Me and his interaction was direct. It went left unexpectedly. We've never had an interaction before because clearly, as you saw, he didn't respond to my DMs, and I've never really commented on any of his tweets. He said that he saw my content, but he never commented on it. So I'm surprised that he had that response, and it is what it is. The game is the game. But overall, my point is, sometimes we just find out that some of our favorite players can kind of be corny, and it is what it is. Like that, it just come with the game. But I don't like somebody trying to gaslight others and lie on my name and say, oh, well, his platform is built on negativity. Like, no, it's not. Like, it's stupid to me to even have to say that out loud because you guys know that, being familiar with the channel already. But overall, I just wanted to address it. When it first went down, I was out of town, so I really couldn't respond to it. But the things that I want to put to bed is the narrative that me and NinjaKilla exposed Sonic. We didn't, and nobody intended to expose Sonic. We were just having a conversation. Ninja said what he said. I think that his point of view was saying that I think his shot was more NRS, saying they don't acknowledge the other top talent. And then it got spun into, well, Sonic is the reason that, you know, these characters get balanced this way. I don't really believe that to be true, but I think that he does have influence, whether he knows it or not, even if he doesn't want to admit that to himself, right? But overall, it is what it is. I just wanted to address that in this video, get this on out there. I'm pretty sure I'll never address this again. As I said to Sonic, that invite is still on the table to collab, because one of the things I think is dope is having conversations with people that you don't agree with in a respectful manner. I think that's healthy. What pissed me off is the fact that he tried to make an implication of what my character is when you don't know anything about me, fam. Like, you said the crowdfunding will bring the game back. I don't see what would make us do crowdfunding as a whole, because we haven't had a great experience overall. Now, if that does happen in the future because the game gets better, I'm totally in full support of it. But the idea of trying to say that anybody who doesn't support that needs to be gaslit into saying they're being negative, that's simply not true. They have to give us a better product and reward us. You would have never heard anybody say this about Mortal Kombat 11, because Mortal Kombat 11 sold really well and people had a positive experience. Of course, we raged at certain things, but you rage in every single game you play. Like, that's part of the gamer's experience. But the overall point was that we enjoy what we play, and that's why we played it for 4 or 5 years. Mortal Kombat is missing tournaments left and right on a big and grand scale. So how do you expect somebody to want to do crowdfunding when Mortal Kombat 1 can't even make majors in its second year because things have started off so poorly? That was the overall point. But this video is probably longer than I want it to be already. I haven't edited it down, but I'm sure it's much longer than I want it to be. But I did want to address this. I think SonicFox is an awesome player. I think he has a corny personality, or I think he has corny moments. I'm not going to say corny personality because I don't know him. I think from things that I've seen that didn't include me versus this situation that also did include me, I think he can have very corny moments. And I think what it is when you're so good at the game that you play and you're so heralded for being so skilled, sometimes it can make you lose sight of reality as far as like, hey bro, you just good at the game. Like, that doesn't give you the right to like be a dickhead towards other people who don't agree with you because you're the best player. Like, we're not disputing, you know, who's the best character, what the tier list is, who has the best frames, da 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 da. What we're disputing is the customer overall experience, and all of us can relate to that because we spent our money and we know how it feels to spend our money and feel like we didn't get our bang for our buck. So that's what I wanted to address. But overall, I want to wrap this video up. I hope you guys had a great holiday. Look forward to some more content coming forward. As I said, Ghostface has made Mortal Kombat 1 fun enough for me that you're going to start seeing that game on this channel much more, because I just kind of miss it. I'm just hoping that the excitement that Ghostface gave me, I can give for some other characters as well as we switch around. But until the next time, it's your boy Lou Streets. I am out. Peace. Catch you on the next one. Why do you do that so recklessly? Stop it. Doing that shit no more.